For more on this, we're now joined by Matokgo Makutoane, Health Systems Advisor at IPAS Africa's Southern Region, and she joins us via our video link. Matokgo, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, today being a World Abortion Safe Day, perhaps maybe let's start off with just the importance there. And I've seen that about 77% of abortions are said to be unsafe. Why is it so important for us to continue to highlight these challenges we face as, the globe?
Well, today it's just one of those days that that reminds us that women still continue to die due to lack of safe abortion services in the different countries around the world, and the war again on women's bodies continue unabated, be it in the first world or in the developing world. That continues to happen, and women die in the process.
When you look at that figure, 77% of sub-Saharan Africa, why do we continue to see such high numbers of unsafe abortions?
Well, the reasons are multifaceted, as it's indicated in a press statement. It varies from law reform. I mean, when you look at a country like Malawi, where abortion remains illegal, and lots of women still die from backstreet abortion in Malawi, and in countries like South Africa, where we have a very liberal law, women still die from backstreet abortion because of different reasons. There's a lot of stigma attached to abortion services, and so even where in a country where abortion is legal, it still is a challenge because of the stigma attached and the attitudes of health workers and many other issues, especially stigma around in health services and also stigma in the communities. And that makes it still a hidden kind of thing when women want to access. They are scared to come out and say, I really need an abortion.
And I want to stay with stigma because I know that it seems as if it's one of the biggest challenges we face, especially even for those countries where, the abortions are actually legal. Why do we continue to see this sort of stigma, especially if, we have the hospitals that can do abortions safely in South Africa, but people are still very shy to make use of those, healthcare services?
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, IPAS has been supporting the Department of Health since abortion became legal in this country. And there's a time when we actually did what we call home site orientation, where we sit around the table in the boardroom, maybe from the security guard to the CEO, and just discuss abortion. And you will be surprised how many people, even those who work in health facilities, actually thought this is not allowed. A woman will go to a facility, and then when they get to a gate, a security will tell them that service is not offered here. So we go through the Constitution, and just to show them that the reason why, there was a reason why abortion had to be legal in the country. I mean, before 1994, white women in this country used to be able to access abortion, go to their private doctors or go overseas, and black women were dying. And there was every reason why abortion had to be legal for everyone. And people still don't understand those reasons behind that and still want to stick to the fact that it shouldn't be done. But when a woman wants an abortion, she will go anywhere, even where she knows that she may lose her life, she will still go. So, people's attitudes will not stop women from accessing the service. It will just stop them from accessing safe service, which is where the biggest danger is.
And for a very long time in South Africa, we struggled with that challenge, especially in public healthcare facilities. And when you'd ask young girls, teenage girls who are pregnant, and they would tell you that they went to their local clinic or hospital and they were turned away. Would you say that as much as we've dealt with that as a country, it's still something that many young girls are challenged with when they go to public healthcare facilities?
Well, it's still, the department is really trying to address it with partners who support them to look at the women's rights, and just to also let the health workers to be aware of the right to legal abortion that a person who wants the service is actually entitled to. So it's work in progress. It has improved somewhat, but we still need to do more because, I mean, young girls are still scared to go to facilities, and so we need to look at other innovations. So how can we get the services to them without them going to the facilities if they are still scared to go to the facilities? So things like innovations like telemedicine, are these the kind of things that we can look at so that they don't really have to go to facilities and they don't actually die in the process?
Yeah.
If they go backstreet. Yeah.
And Matokgo, when you look at sub-Saharan Africa, at least 11 countries have legalized safe abortions. What do you think still needs to be done on the continent, to push for legislation, to allow more governments, to allow women the right to have safe abortions?
Well, our countries have actually signed regional and international treaties, which sometimes they don't comply with. And the UN, through the Sustainable Development Goals, also talks about accountability and holding each other accountable, states holding each other accountable. And but we see very little progress when it comes to that. With the United Nations General Assembly last week, where they also announced how badly we're still doing on sustainable development goals, is just one of the things that they were looking at, because there's a goal that expects states to make sure that universal access includes access to sexual and reproductive health, but that moves at a snail's pace. What can only happen is that grassroots movement should actually be able to hold government accountable, make people on the ground understand the impact of lack of access to SRHR services, especially lack of access to abortion services, what that means. And when people understand, then they are able to take the government to account.
And, would you say that this is an injustice against many women on the continent, especially, when it comes to not being able to make decisions for themselves on their own bodies?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The right to bodily autonomy, the right to, we talk about gender equality and it's just one of those. By 2030, according to the UN goals, the SDGs, by countries should have really progressed when it comes to gender equality. But that's moving at a very slow pace. So issue of bodily autonomy and reproductive justice is really, we still need to do a lot of work.
A long way to go there, Matokgo. That is
Matokgo
Makutoane. Thank you so much for your time here on the late edition. Matokgo Makutoane, Health Systems Advisor at IPAS Africa's Southern Region.